Go.
Good afternoon and welcome to Guess Who's Coming to Kansas City. MC Richardson talking live Kansas City to Ferguson, St. Louis, and his favorite place, all the music sisters. City is now, I used to be referred to as the Grand Ole Opry, and we got a special guest about this show. And I just want to say that in remembrance, Donald Hamlin had passed away, and also the former city council woman, Miss Williams. Her funeral will be in Kansas City on next Saturday, and the people reading in the Kansas City or the Kansas City Call going online. It will tell you exact time and place. And we want to welcome a special show today. And who do we have? Sir Ara.
Oh, you see, my name is Ira Folks, who's on the Missouri Human Congress, and today we have MC Mr. Ron Wynn. Okay, he's from the Nashville. Ron, what's the name of your paper that you put down there?
It's the Tennessee Tribune. It's the state's largest black-owned newspaper.
Well, think with that. I'm very familiar with things in Nashville. You know, we're also one of our members is the Tennessee Association of Broadcasters right there in the Music City.
Okay. Okay, well, now, so MC, he was the largest black newspaper in the state of Tennessee, so what's the name of the paper again, Ron?
It's the Tennessee Tribune.
Well, I'm familiar with that name, but welcome to the show, sir, and I understand you have a lot of information to pass on to our listeners.
Well, thank you, sir. Thanks for the opportunity to be on your program. I appreciate it.
Okay, well, Mr. Ron, right now, okay, your city is, in your state right now, is the hottest discussion in the world right now. And let me kind of set the stage up a little bit here, okay? This past week, you had three state representatives. You know, they were about to be expelled from the House of Representatives. And in the House of Representatives, there, you know, it's I think it's like 99 members there, and there are 74 Republicans and I think 25 Democrats. Am I right?
That's correct. It's Republican supermajority in both houses. Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, and the governor also is Republican.
Yes, that's correct.
As a matter of fact, just for the sake of clarity here and honesty, in Missouri we have the same situation there. We have a house that's, you know, that's controlled by Republican, and the Senate controlled by Republican, also our governor also. So for the sake, you know, that's not picking on Tennessee. But this past week, okay, you had the killing this past week. I should say, well, three young 9-year-olds were killed, you know, in a gun shootout at Covenant School, as well as three adults were. And so they've been picketing down there, and so the pickets came to the state capitol, and three of your state representatives, okay, was supporting them, you know, in a quiet picket and stuff. And I just said from there, with you being from Nashville, why don't you take the story from there?
Okay, well,
Sir, before you do, I'm familiar with your newspaper, also with Tennessee State, Fisk University, and Mahara, and the others surrounding. Matter of fact, I stated earlier that the people who are members of Tennessee Association of Broadcasters or members of the United Minority Media Association, and I'm very familiar with your city, love your city. I have a lot of relatives down there, so just go ahead and take the show, sir.
okay, all right. Well, I'll start off by saying that one point that I don't think has been made often enough is that the day of the first demonstration, all right, there were thousands of people who marched down to the state legislature, and there were students from all of the schools in Nashville. There's students from Vanderbilt, students from TSU, students from Fisk, even people from American Baptist College and Mary, as well as just regular community people. All right, all these people marched down to the Capitol Plaza, to the legislature. All right, now Most of the Republican legislators walked right past these people on their way into the legislature and didn't even acknowledge them, wouldn't even speak to them, just ignored them totally. All right. So there was already a large sense of frustration among the demonstrators. Okay.
Sir, could you hold your point? I have a grandson here that went to the college down in Nashville, Pastor Hayes. Will you come forward, please? This is the newspaper in Nashville. Okay.
Yes, I went to American Baptist College. I was waiting on our name to get called.
I did mention that. I think I did, didn't I?
Yes, you did. You did.
Okay. Yeah, I used to stay right down the street from American Baptist College on Trinity Lane, so I know exactly where it is, and I'm very familiar with its history. But to get back to my point, the demonstrators were already ignored by most of the Republican legislators. All right, inside the chamber, prior to the demonstrators coming in, Democratic legislators had tried to bring up the issue of gun violence in various committees, and they got shouted down. Okay. Then they tried in the General Assembly to bring it back up, and their microphones got silenced. So at that point, because they were so frustrated with not being able to be heard, Justin Jones from Nashville, Justin Pearson from Memphis, and Gloria Johnson from Knoxville went outside and joined the demonstrators and brought them back in. All right. In the process of doing that, one of the two men, I don't know which one of the two men brought a bullhorn in, and they then started to shout to articulate what they had been, what the demonstrators had been trying to get heard, that there was a lot of concern among students about violence in the schools. All right. So now, in the process of doing that, from the strict standpoint of legislative decorum, the legislators walked into the well and began to address them directly. All right. They were able to do that for a few minutes, and then a recess was called because the Republican legislators didn't want to hear it. All right. But the Republican legislators were so upset that these legislators brought the demonstrators into the well that the next day they began an expulsion process. All right. The formal expulsion procedure began on Monday, and then on Thursday, they gave the legislators a chance to respond to the charges, and there was like hours, literally, that was live streamed to the nation, in which Republican legislators made their charges, and the Democratic legislators responded. At the end of all of that, Representative Justin Jones and Representative Justin Pearson it takes a 2/3 vote to expel. All right. Those two were voted out. They were expelled. Representative Johnson, who was a 60-year-old white woman from Knoxville, she missed by one vote being expelled. She was not expelled. Okay. So the two youngest black members of the legislature were formally expelled in this process. Okay. Yesterday, the vice president came to Nashville, spoke at Fisk, met with the Democratic caucus, and on Monday there's going to be another big demonstration down at the Legislative Plaza, and I understand representatives from National Black Network are coming down, and I guess representatives from some other organizations are going to be coming. And once again, there will be students and community people all gathered together to continue to demonstrate, to try to get some kind of bills, legislation passed that's sensible in regards to addressing the issue of gun violence.
Okay, now Ron, let me ask you a couple of questions, okay?
Sure, go ahead.
Now, with us not being there, but from what I can understand, and it's kind of been puzzling me, it seems like Nashville is a majority white town, city, not a city, it's the state capital. And in there, that all the students that were killed at school, and there was only one black that was killed. And so most of these demonstrations, the demonstrators, are demonstrating, for, a cause that's really affecting the white community. Am I right?
Well, yes and no. I mean, I would say this. The issue of gun violence affects across the board. But in this particular incident that you're talking about, yes, Coventry School is a very much, it's in Green Hills, which is a heavily white part of Nashville. It's a fundamentalist Christian school, okay? All the children that were killed were white. 2 of the 3 adults who were killed were white. But in the demonstration itself, it was very much multiracial, intergenerational across the board.
Okay. And so right now, it would seem like to me that a lot of the legislators that were passing through there, on the Republican side, I should say, a lot of their constituents are also in the crowd there. Would I be accurate to say that?
That would be fair. Some of their constituents were. Yeah. Now, again, the way the Republicans look at it is our constituents support us not taking action on gun violence. Now, I find that strange because I think the problem with gun violence it's everywhere. I mean, you hear about incidents in rural communities, you hear about incidents in metropolitan communities, in urban areas, small towns, whatever, But the way they see it, they don't feel that it is, even after it hits a church like Coventry, they don't seem to feel that it has risen to the level where it needs to be addressed legislatively.
Okay, now another thing I didn't know, that I know in the state of Tennessee that you have 4 gun factories there in the state of Tennessee. Am I right?
In state, yes.
Okay, I mean 4, in the state of Tennessee, and so that means that a lot of those factories on the average may employ maybe anywhere from 200. Maybe 500 people each, okay, in each one of the factories. So a lot of those factories, those state representatives, represent some of those people in those factories. Would that be accurate also?
Yes, yeah. I mean, there's no question that the gun lobby, however you want to define the gun lobby, whether you want to say it's gun manufacturers, whether you want to say it's NRA, whatever you want, the gun lobby has a big impact on the Tennessee state legislature. No question about that.
Okay, and now tell us a little bit about the speaker there, the job that he holds.
Yeah, Jim Sexton is a very hardcore right winger. B, someone who's been supported with major cash contributions from the gun lobby. C, does not have a good track record as far as race relations go. And D, felt personally offended because he was cited, his conduct and his attitude in dealing with black legislators, and in particular in dealing with those 2 black legislators. And let me just add that there's kind of a side note here, in that both Justin Jones and Justin Pearson are from the younger generation, and they don't look at things like, a lot of, I'm an older person myself, okay? I'll be 71. I'm 26 this month, okay? So,
your season is 83 and I'm 74, so...
Yeah, so I'll put myself in that category, and I'm just saying this, is that they are not so prone to, paying attention to some of the practices and some of the decorum like the people from other generations are. And that point was brought up by some of the black legislators when they were speaking. They were saying, I might not address it like these young men do, but they're from a different generation and they see things differently, and we need to listen to them and stop getting caught up so much in mode of presentation and rules and all that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh. Let me go ahead.
So anyway, so right now, I hear what you're saying. That I should ask a question earlier. What is the generational age on the average in the House of Representatives?
Oh, it's very much dominated by older white men. As a matter of fact, they were saying on MSNBC that the Republican caucus looks like it's from 1947, because that's basically all you're going to see. There are a lot of old white men, and they are very much hostile to black interests in general, and they are particularly hostile to young black interests.
Now also, I think you told me yesterday. I think now one of the justices has been there in the House. This is I think second term there. Am I right?
No. Justin Pearson, both of these are newly elected representatives. Now they were elected in January, but they've only been in for a matter of weeks, both of them, because this session hasn't been in. They haven't been in session all that long. Okay. So it's been a matter of weeks for both of them. They're new members.
Okay. And also, for clarification, one Justin, is from Nashville.
Justin Jones is from Nashville. He's a former Fifth student. Justin Pearson's from Memphis.
Okay, now, and also one of the Justins was also an intern for Congresswoman Lee in D.C. for a couple of years also.
Right.
Okay, and so, but each one of them, seem to have had a good college education, and also somewhat aware, knowledge about how to speak to the public also.
No question.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, they are. I mean, it was not funny or humorous, but it was funny to watch the contrast between how they were being spoken to and how they were responding.
They were being attacked.
Yes.
Let me at this point not take away from, but I used to go down to Memphis. I've been to the Rain Museum now, where Martin Luther King was killed. And it was heavily. They used to say Memphis is a chocolate city like used to be, like Washington D.C. What impact did the people in Memphis have on what took place in Nashville?
Okay, let me see if I understand.
I want to know, what did the people in Memphis, did they come in to work with you, probably getting vital information from your newspaper? What is their stand, in your opinion, on what took place there?
Oh, they're very, very, I mean, in both Memphis and Nashville, the communities are very outraged about what has gone down. And there were people who came from Memphis for the demonstration Thursday. There's people who are coming Monday. There are people who are in town now, and this is really, what the Republicans have done is they've kind of awakened the state Democratic Party in Tennessee. I mean, people are seeing now just what happens when you don't come out to vote in these elections, and when you have a supermajority that's power mad like these people are.
And also, Ron, the member serves right, that first of all, I think what kind of gets me, is on April the 4th, which was Tuesday, that was the day that Dr. King got killed in Memphis, about 1960, about 55 years ago. No, I think it was. That Dr. King was killed, in Memphis, Tennessee, and so all that, his death has always been overlooked. Some people right now, that was a historical time for the black community. And for this taking place with these young black men, okay, that it seems to be like, this is like a transcendent, okay, of the young people. That's a manner for Dr. King that's out there, which is just they kind of feel that someone that's being a newspaper person, that this is something that has historical value in more than one way.
Oh, I would agree. Yes, it's certainly. I mean, one of the things that I think this has done is it's kind of rekindled. Fisk and TSU both have been very involved for decades in civil rights movement and just the whole cause of black equality. But in the last few years, there's not been as much activity on those campuses. But this has definitely rekindled a lot of enthusiasm on both of those campuses, and also American Baptist and also Merit. Just the entire black collegiate community is rallying behind Justin Jones and behind this issue.
And also, okay, so for the sake of our conversation for our listeners, in Memphis, Tennessee, they have, and also I should say in Nashville, those are the two main generations of economic wealth for the state of Tennessee. Am I right?
Right.
You got a football team. They got a football team there in Nashville, and in Memphis they got the basketball team. In
Memphis, yeah.
You basically got Huskies over there, and you got Titans there. And I know those teams right there alone drawing a lot of income. I mean, for the tourism market in most cases there. And I know that Memphis itself is a tourist attraction also. And also in Nashville, also considered being the music capital. When they call it Music City right now. They're drawing a lot of economic. I guess I'm saying most of the salaries of the people that's in Nashville there, the legislature, they're getting paid for by those two cities.
Oh, no question. And I can tell you that the national attention that this has brought to Nashville is not good. All right. I mean, the Republican legislature they look vindictive, they look racist, and they look backward. And it makes the city and the state look backward. And many people are commenting on that. And there are a lot of people who don't necessarily agree with the perspectives that these legislators took, but they don't think they should have been expelled. I mean, there's only been 3 legislators expelled out of the Tennessee legislature in 200-something years. And 2 were for bribery, and 1 was for 28 counts of sexual assault. So to expel people for speaking out, which is why they were expelled, is just so beyond the norm that even people who don't agree with them are saying that they should not have done that.
Well, no, something you're saying there. Okay, well, I'm gonna say it outright for you. The image, okay, because I know in Tennessee and Nashville, especially Memphis, okay, they have both been trying to increase their image, okay, for the tourist industry. And I don't think this is going a long way toward help.
Oh no question. This is going to counter. This is going to negatively counter a lot of the things that they have tried to do to improve the image, and in particular Nashville. I mean, Nashville has started a couple of black tours. We have the Black Music Museum just celebrated its first anniversary here. So Nashville has tried to do, and the Nashville City Council, before the legislature decided to try to cut it in half, is the most diverse and inclusive it's ever been. So there have been lots of steps, and the Tennessee Titans have their first black general manager. So there's lots of steps that have been taken here to try to improve the image. But something like this sets all of that stuff back, because this is the number one story across the nation in every major newspaper. It was on all the major broadcast networks, all the major cable networks. So this is not the kind of publicity or image that Nashville wants.
Well, let me get back on. Was the Tennessee Association of Broadcasters how many of their membership have stepped up to work with you guys, if any?
Okay, as far as the paper,
Well, another paper, you probably, you have the Tennessee Press Association.
right?
But I'm saying
right.
even, well, the broadcasters and the people with cable, radio, and TV, has any of their outlets stepped forward to offer that they want to work with you?
Not as a organization, but now individual members, yes.
Okay, on that same note, next week, next Saturday, would it be possible to bring on maybe some representatives from Fisk, Maher, or Tennessee State to be on our broadcast?
Yeah. I mean, I will. If you're asking me, can I personally get somebody? I will see what I can do. I'd be glad to try to do that.
And that would go a long way in helping our brother, our folks in
Okay.
St. Louis.
I mean, I'm a retired radio producer, but you know,
Okay.
I will come out of retirement and see if I can get somebody from Fisk and TSU to come on.
Well, you know,
let me say this to you, okay? Ron, okay, is a part of our family that we have with Miss Daniels, and let's give her some credit here. Also, Miss Daniels is the founder of a group called the Trailblazer Awards, and Ron is also a part of that group, and so am I. And that's how this program came about, because I called Miss Daniels, okay, and the Trailblazer Awards. Ron, tell me a bit about the Trailblazer Awards, but we get something to talk about what's going on down in
well, we want to bless you too for being a part of this. I'm just saying, this is something that we need to really broaden the base and get the word out to the people. And for the benefit of Ferguson, you can tell them how the people in Nashville and the other surrounding city can be sure to tune in and get the word out that we want this broadcast to be heard on this station and this show next Saturday.
Okay, well, MC, we may have a scheduling conflict next Saturday, so we may not be broadcasting next Saturday. And so that's something we have to talk about, you know, out there, okay?
Okay, if that's the conflict I'm not cognizant of, then we could postpone that to the following Saturday.
Okay, now we could possibly do that, and also, Ron, as I already told you, okay, we're going to talk about it on my program also, in weeks coming up also. Right now, I think right now, having Ron, you being there, okay, in Nashville, and also being a man in the media also. You know, Ron, I'm 74 years old, and I thought I retired also. You know we retired, okay?
Yeah, I know.
So it's stories like this, okay, that keeps us in the news, okay, that keeps us
That's
young.
right. That's right. Yeah.
That keeps us young. You know,
I retired off the radio side. I mean, I did a talk show here for 20 years, and I've retired from that end. But I'm still in the writing end. So yeah.
Okay. But so right now, like MC, we also see the importance, okay, of this story, okay.
Yeah.
And I think what needs to be told, like what MC is saying here, we need to tell it through all lenses that we possibly can.
That's right.
Because unfortunately for the state of Tennessee, you know, there's the media, okay, that's going to put their own spin on it, you know, and it's not our people put the spin on it. And so as much as we can get our spin put on the news that's being talked about there, you know, that's a blessing, MC, for us so we can do that, okay? So we all are working together as a family, okay, to do the best we can, okay?
Could I just add though that since we're bringing up the thing about black media, now there were representatives here from Black America Web and News One, so there were black news organizations here. But just from in terms of just the Tennessee Association of Broadcasters as a organization, no, not as an organization, but individual members of the organization, yes.
Okay.
So I just want to make that point.
Okay, now right now, okay, since MC brought up a good point there, you have a lot of your black universities there that's located there also, and I'm quite sure that they're not quite happy about the image that's being portrayed of their city also.
Oh no,
Because,
no. Yeah.
And I think anybody, no one right now, because I know here in St. Louis, okay, they run a lot of ads that run on TV all the time, but come to Tennessee, either come to Nashville, okay? And this right now, I know these are $1 million ads that been running, campaign been running for years, okay? And right now, this is not helping those campaigns at all. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get people to come to your fair cities.
Right.
And matter of fact, TC as a whole is going to take a hit from this.
Right. Mr. Hart, could I have just a couple of quick notes?
Right, go right ahead. Okay, this as you can see, we all jumped in here because right now, this wasn't some plan. This can be put together yesterday, okay? Okay.
Well, no, I just wanted to add that on Monday here in Nashville, the Metro Council is having a special meeting because under the state law, the Metro Council can appoint a temporary replacement for Justin Jones until a special election is held. So if the Metro Council approves it on Monday, he will be reseated next week. Now in Shelby County, he'll have to go through a special election. But here in Nashville, it's possible that Representative Jones can get reseated within the next week. Now there is the possibility that the Republicans will refuse to allow him to be seated if the council reappoints him, and that's kind of what people are waiting to see, because the head of the Democratic caucus has already said that he will take it to federal court if the city reappoints him and the Republicans refuse to see him, then the Tennessee Democratic Council is going to take it to court. So that's the next step on Monday.
Okay, now let me ask you
as well as the big demonstration.
Okay, let me ask you. I know I saw last night. I think I saw the state chairman of the Democratic Party, and one of the things that is taking place here, that around the country, all the Democratic parties, all the states, okay, are supported the Tennessee chairman there, and they also sending money, okay, come into there. And I think that's going to have a larger effect on the next legislative session, okay? That gives a lot of the people running for seats in the legislature now. And I think this time, in 2 or 3 years from now, we may see a changes in the faces, okay, of the members that's presently in those seats there right now. Would that be a fair thing to say?
I agree, and that's one of the things that some of the national Republicans are not happy about this either, because they see the possible long-term damage in that.
Right.
Yeah, this is bringing more young people into the Democratic Party, and it's galvanizing black voters, and it's galvanizing LGBTQ voters. So it's bringing a lot of people into the Democratic Party that the Republicans really don't want to see coming into the Democratic Party.
I've been predicting this. I tried to somehow remember the chamber here in St. Missouri that the last election that we had, okay, that the young women, or the women in general, okay, was decided affected because of the abortion issue. And I'm predicting that this next election, okay, going to be decided on gun rights. And right now, okay, that's an issue that we all see in Congress as a whole just said, nope, we ain't going to do it, we ain't going to do it. And I think right now, okay, that's portraying the Republican Party somewhat in a bad light, okay, because I have friends on both sides of the aisle, you know. But right now, the Republican as a whole right now saying, we're not going to do anything, period. That's not going to happen. Right. I think right now, not only will they get change in the Tennessee legislature down there, okay, with, the state there. I also think that possibly one of the young men that we talk about here right now, maybe running for Congress also, because the member serves right. You guys didn't have anybody represent, Tennessee in the Congress, do you? That's right.
No, yeah, it's Republican. The delegation in D.C. is Republican controlled also.
Okay, so it's a strong possibility, okay, that this may help Tennessee as a whole get one representative at least, or at least Nashville or Memphis may get one also. These two young men right now are become superstars in the party right now, in the media, to be honest, not just in the party, okay. But right now, because they on all the talk shows.
Yes.
Well, so they're not on the talk shows right now, but they're gonna probably be on all the nighttime talk shows coming up in the next week or so. And and this is not. And the other thing about this, something you just mentioned, okay, for the Republican Party, this is not going to wait no time soon. And it can be excavated if okay, they decide to fight against him, the gentleman from Nashville being seated, okay. That will go a long way in the wrong direction for the Republican Party.
I agree. Now, I don't think, well, let me say this. Okay, I don't think they would be stupid enough to do that, but I didn't think they would, well, I did think they were going to unseat him because I just know how they are, but I don't think they're going to be dumb enough to try to override what the Metro Council does, because they've already made these guys national stars and heroes. So I think at this point, and they asked the speaker, when the Republicans had their press conference, they did ask the speaker if either representative were sent back, would you oppose seating them? And he said no. So I don't, but that is still a possibility, that there are some Republicans who don't want them back in the House at all and would argue to try and keep them out. But legally, they don't have any mechanism to do it.
Well, me being a long time, watcher of politics and state policy. When they can make the rules they want when they
sure they can. Yeah.
Okay, so we have super majority. Anything can take place. Okay, that's not in your favor. If you're not, I know in Missouri. I have watched. For years. Okay, in Missouri, Democrats have been in control for a number of years, and right now, most of our legislators right now are from the rural areas now, and also much younger. And also, we are affected in Missouri about term limitation. And so a lot of them guys are very young, and they're in there for maybe they're going to be 8 years now, so they can't not get seniority, to do anything. Seniority rules in these kind of bodies, Right. And so here in Missouri, I have to compare that because we like you guys. We have, up in the House and the governorship. Now, since the Nashville will be able to put Mr. Jones back in there, okay. What effect would you think that would have on the House as a rule, if he is reseated?
Well, from a practical standpoint, it wouldn't have much because he'd still be part of a minority. But from a symbolic perspective, it would be very important.
How so?
Well, just because it would show that the city of Nashville is making a point that they don't support what the state legislature did.
Okay.
And, the city council, I guess I don't want to know if I want to go how far off into this tangent I want to go, okay? But the state legislature and the city of Nashville have kind of been at war ever since the city of Nashville voted to not have the Republican convention come here, the last Republican convention. And the legislature has been doing stuff ever since to try to punish the city of Nashville for that. So this exposure is part of that.
Okay, right now, okay. I understand that because that's a similar way they do it at Mississippi, okay. We'll also have a similar situation, okay, where they have control that the you know, Jackson, Mississippi, which is the state capital, has been treated like a backwoods city, and that they don't have all the services. Okay, I know because they were talking about read someplace they talking about cutting back some funds also for Nashville because of what just took place.
Yeah, we could do a whole separate show just on this issue of the Tennessee legislature versus the city of Nashville, and to some extent the city of Memphis too. But really, they have been targeting Nashville, and in the last redistricting, they effectively redistricted Nashville out of a congressional seat by redrawing the map. So, you know, it gets into some very, very dicey and ugly political stuff when you're talking about the state legislature and this versus the city of Nashville. So I think the Metro Council would be delighted to send Justin Jones back just to, in a way, kind of thumb their nose in the face of the state legislature, because the state legislature has been trying to stick it to the city of Nashville for the last couple of years.
And also, I think I read or heard someplace that the map, okay, that was very much gerrymandered the last time. You know, I mean, that it went to the Supreme Court, and it was found that they had to go back and redraw the map. I think that's going to take place in a couple of weeks. Am I right?
Well, what they did, okay, what's happening right now is the legislature passed a law that effectively cuts the Metro Council down in half. Okay, now there's a lawsuit that's been filed to stop that, but because there's an election coming up, they still had to go ahead with a map. So that whole thing is just in a mess right now. There's a new map coming out with this reduced council, but that's under court challenge. So I don't know if that's going to stand or not.
Okay, but I'm saying, every 10 years, they have to redraw the maps, okay, for the
yeah, that's under a court challenge also. But redistricting has already happened. Okay, both the state redistricting and the city redistricting are under court challenges.
Right, I understand that, but right now, I've got to read something.
Gentlemen, let me interject again. I'm not a novice in interjection. But since you mentioned Jackson, which is, they say, predominant black, what is the water situation there now?
Still in bad shape, MC. Matter of fact, they still in. Matter of fact, this recent tornado that hit Roland Fort, Mississippi. I kind of grew up down there. I know a little bit about the proximity. It hasn't helped a lot, okay, because they were probably take away some of the resources, okay, that he probably would put in Jackson, okay, go over there. But the water situation, okay, has not got a lot better, MC, but it is somewhat improving. And one of the reasons is because Benny Thompson, okay, who was the congressman from that area, has been kind of driving of the Biden administration, and people in general. Now, doing now?
Is Benny Thompson from Clarksdale?
No, he's from Benton, Mississippi, which is a little small town in between Jackson and Bishop, Mississippi.
While we're talking, I know we got a good show. I know we got to come back in a week or two. But what impact, if any, have you gotten from the people of Jackson State?
Well, right now down there, MC, I would say that they have not got too much. Okay, Jackson State right now has had its own set of issues. Okay, and I think right now they've been able to raise some money. And remember, let me say this to you, okay, while I'm watching TV, while I'm having this conversation, I'm very pissed off, okay, on at CNN yesterday, that in all the people they're showing within the lobby of the building there, and there's one black lady, okay, that had a lot of white hair, some guy had a young lady, and she had got something through her nose. And then all the people, they had to kept the camera on yesterday, okay? They down had a camera on Miss NBC. And I think that's kind of showing disrespect, okay? To all the people that need to put a camera on there, that they decided to put on her in particular, okay? And I think that's in bad taste as a journalist, my own stuff, and semi-journalist, my own stuff, And it's not to put that in there, how the media controls, Ron, you know how they control what goes on the air, what goes on the air, something that's being produced, okay?
Oh, yeah, sure.
And so I think the person that was had got the shot, they said come back to that shot a couple more times. I think they went up too many times. That they went back to the same shot they could have been avoided. See, to answer your question about Jackson State, Jackson State is like a little world college down there. Because of Deion Sanders got a lot of publicity, and they've been able to raise a lot of money for their school. But that has gone primarily to their campus, okay, and not directly to the school, to the state itself. So I don't think the state has been able to control those funds, okay, like they would probably want to. And plus, the mayor of Jackson is also black, also. So I think right now that it would be a bad time for them to try to legislatures now to try to do anything, especially after what happened with Brett Favre. And the money that they took away from the blacks in Mississippi to build a volleyball court, for his daughter's volleyball team. So right now, I think the politics of Mississippi can change the funds around. Redirecting funds right now would be something we kind of stupid of, but that's the same thing in the past, But Ron, now back to you, okay? What impact has the football players down there? Because you got a lot of blacks up that's on the Tennessee Titans. Have they got any this to throw it off?
Okay. To my knowledge, none of them have come. The Titans organization, so far, anyway, and I mean this might change. But so far, the Titans and the Predators have stayed away from this. They have not made any statements. I haven't seen any individual Titan or Predator players in the demonstrations. But I don't want to say that they weren't there because there were thousands of people in the demonstration. Okay, obviously the camera didn't show them all, but I'm pretty sure if any of the prominent athletes had been in there, that the media would have found them because all the were there. So I think it's fair to say that up to now they have not been involved in the demonstrations or in this particular situation.
Okay, now Ron, we're gonna kind of beat this horse pretty good here. So what are the things can you forecast? What things that's planned for next week? Okay. Other than we know that Nashville City Council is going to meet what day?
Monday. Yes. Monday is going to be a big day because you've got the Metro Council meeting in which they're going to, in all likelihood, move to reseat Representative Jones. You've also got another huge mass demonstration planned at Legislative Plaza. And
also, Ron, let me ask another question. What is the composition of the city council there? Black to white. What is the composition of that?
Okay, I don't know the exact demographics, but I will say that it's the most right now. It's the most diverse and inclusive that this has ever been. Okay, in the history of the city. Yeah, which is part of the reason why the legislature wants to cut it in half because they feel there's too many black folk on the council. Okay.
So on that same note, in approximately 2 weeks, hopefully, when we do a program again, we'll have a foothold on what is taking place and what is planned for the future, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Well, Ron, first of all, let me tell you why you're on the air. I want to thank you, okay? I know MC want to thank you also, and so does Tim. If he went to school down there, he has the best interest in what's going on there. Also, right, Tim, you've been quiet. Got any comments, Tim?
Oh, no, well, Tim's gone. The past.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's
Right, yeah.
I'm quite sure he'll have something to say because he's kind of talkative, okay?
I know that. Okay. But no, Rod, I want to thank you, okay, for just, for the last minute, okay, 'cause we had a conversation late yesterday, okay, and especially with Daniels, and also for the secret conversation, the Fowlkes Awards actually had sorting in Nashville, am I right, Ron?
It did, yes. The very first one was held here, and it continues to be a grassroots thing in which people, the nominees are done by community members, and it recognizes people whose efforts haven't been recognized by the mainstream media, but are very much appreciated by the communities in which they serve. So that's the main thing.
Well, I know the last one we had was we had in Kansas, Missouri. Okay, I can tell you. I don't know if you was there with us. Not,
oh yeah, I was. Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, we had a good turnout against a football game, and then also against they were playing on the night of the game. We had a beautiful turnout. Okay, the weekend of the game, and we had such a cross section. No, what we had to do there, we had to move it a year. Moved out a year because we had so many nominations at that time. We had maybe 50, 60 nominations. We almost had 200 people who had been nominated.
That's right, yeah. And that was my first opportunity to come to Kansas City, first chance to visit the Negro League Museum and the Jazz Museum.
Oh, yeah.
So I had a great time. Yeah, it was fantastic.
Well, I was very proud there. They were great. The host you there at MC. Guess who come to Kansas City who has the show? The MC is called Mr. Kansas City, okay? So he's been a part of all the stuff that's going on in Kansas City for the last 30 or 40 years. Okay, the very good thing that took place in Kansas City, Vince Richards did have his finger someplace in the mix there. Matter of fact, he was voted one of the people in Kansas City some years ago. I mean, he's done things. Matter of fact, we mentioned the United Minority Media Association, which is the largest black media association, and it's the oldest black media association in the country, matter of fact. This has been 49 years this year, and MC was founder of that, and they get out tremendous scholarships over the years. They leave out, right now, I can tell you that some of the people that the parents right now have got scholarships, and now their children get scholarships, good paying jobs.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so it's go ahead.
Okay, Ron, what I want to do is for United Minority Media Association to return the relationship with you. And I remember Nashville is one of my favorite cities, working with the Tennessee Association of Broadcast. And also, here's a really historical deal.
Folks, I hate to interrupt you all, but it is getting to be that time.
Okay. We hear you, sir.
Yeah, 5 minutes ago. Go ahead. Yeah, 5 minutes ago.
On the same token, when I went down to Tennessee State, both the broadcast and the journalism department, you know who they was headed up by? White professionals. Yeah, but now they have some beautiful sisters there.
That's right, yeah. Yes, sir.
Hopefully our time always runs out, but hopefully, unbeknownst to me, why not next week, but the following week, that we resume this and bring some people, and not only on the air, but be sure that they listen in to the great show so we can make history again.
Right. One of the things, Ron, when we do before next year, okay, I give Ms. Daniels, we can kind of publicize this in advance, you know what I'm saying? So people can tune in and listen to this. But I think right now, we're probably giving them the most direct information for the black community that's been here so far, okay? About this. And also, this is USCHotTopics.com. And I'm proud to be with you. My name is Adam Fowlkes, CEO and the founder of Reservation Commerce, and we also blessed to have Mr. Scott Owens, USCHotTopics.com. Scott, you've been quiet the whole show until we got into
Scott always tries to be quiet. He's the producer.
Yeah, well, that's what producers do, Scott. 'Cause I've been on this show here. I've been a producer, and so Richard asked me to help him out a little bit. So that's why he and my boss have been going out there. I got from this MC to help out a little bit here,
There you go.
and so we can make things, lively here. But the job thanks to MC for all this he's done. And also, Ron, this show's been on the air over 30-some years now, by the way.
Fantastic. That's great. That's great.
It's been on there over 30 years now, and MC is like I said, see this show, and matter, he also has it copyrighted also. So nobody can come along and take the show and say their show.
Okay. Okay.
So he has, they call it rights to the program. Okay. No matter where you go, he has to go with it. Right, MC?
And don't you forget it. And thank you, Scott and Ron. And I want, like I said, resume our relationship so we'll be able to get some more information from you how we can do that. Right now, I'll just probably go through Aura, but I was very familiar with your newspaper and what y'all do. Okay.
Well, thank you, sir, and I thank you so much for having me on your show today. It was an honor.
Ron, tell us a little bit about your paper while you're on there. We can get out just a little bit about your newspaper.
Well, the Tennessee Tribune is approaching 40 years of operation, and it's the largest black-owned newspaper in the state of Tennessee. And we're both in print and online too. That's one thing. I mean, a lot of newspapers aren't in print anymore, but we are both in print and online. And
what's your role there?
I am the sports and entertainment editor, and I'm also a commentator. So I'm in 3 different areas. And I would just say that the founder of our paper was Etta Miller Perry. She founded it to be a positive voice for the black community, and that's what we try to do. So.
Before Scott cut us off, I was going to say...
Oh, blame me.
When I met with your newspaper, it was a female in charge, and you just acknowledged that.
Yes. Yeah, Ms. Perry is a great woman. Yes, and she's been doing this almost 4 decades, and still going strong, still in charge of the operation. Yep.
Well, on that note, okay, before Scott said that, listen, and guess who's coming to Kansas City, hosted by Mr. M.C. Richardson. My name is Al Fowlkes, one of the producer and co-host with them. Also, we have a guest from Nashville, Tennessee, Mr. Ron Wynn. Thank you so much for your time, Ron. And on that note, thank you, our listeners, listen to Frequency USA. HotTalkRadio.com. Thank you very much. Talk to you again. Very shortly. Like, you can also find us on Spotify, YouTube, and Twitch. Thank you. Life is good. Be safe.